We're gonna go live.
Yoo-hoo, live it be.
We are. You know what? We are absolutely live now, so we could go ahead and do. There we go. Right on time. Because once again, it's time for America's favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
Internet radio show that changes names so often. We're in the amateur hour team talk room with the Suburban Homeboys reference, and we don't go by either of those names, but we'll fix that in post. And joining me are all my co-hosts across the country. We got Venison actually in the team talk room, still without pants, and Lulu is now out of the camper.
Oh, I got pants.
Out of the camper, in the house, still doesn't have a floor, but that's okay. And Brian,
I don't want a floor.
Brian joined with no technical problems this week, so we've got that going.
Yay! And I have
Impossible.
one closet door that still isn't closed.
Yes, and Venison figured out that the version of Team Talk that says that it's good for Windows 7 through 10 is actually good for Windows 8 through 10, and he needs to download the Windows XP version because of course he does.
Of course.
Because Venison
Damn, whatever works.
because Venison is old, and he needs old people software.
Oh.
Well, if he was
course
really
he
old
needs-
people,
Yeah,
he'd
only
be
young-
using DOS.
Yeah, on a young
No. Next week
Gee.
he's gonna connect with a Nintendo Famicom using the Player 2 controller as the microphone.
Oh my god.
my player controller broke.
Ah,
Your player controller broke?
yeah, well, oh
Poor
well.
thing.
The
But-
joystick too. I love that thing.
Okay. Anyways, you know what I should do? I should actually bring up the Skype and Twitch rooms and like give the show. Oh, I forgot to name the streams this week, so we have whatever last week's name was.
Same old shit, different day.
Same old shit, different day. But what we need to bring up the chat rooms is what we need to do. And what are ninths and 78, because I talked about my 78 RPM records last week. Whatever. You know what? Ninths and 78, it means nothing, so we'll just keep that. Welcome to part 2 of ninths and 78. All right, let's
The fuck is for this locking screen?
all right. And let's bring up the YouTube channel. Because that way, if you all want to chat, you can chat and we can read it. Because we read your messages on the internet. And then we talk about them. So, hello everyone. It's been another week. Sometimes.
Since you're talking about 78s, oh wait a second. That's
What?
I sent you a reference to a vinyl record.
You did, and
Twitter?
I still don't know quite what you're talking about. But let's Google it. Because I was on the toilet when I first got the tweet, so I wasn't gonna Google it. I instead decided to play some
He
games.
can't Google from the toilet.
Well,
Ew.
Well, that requires more. That requires two thumb typing. I prefer to play games. You know, I shoot craps when I'm on the toilet. Is what I typically do.
Did you flush your phone?
No. But I sanitize it periodically.
What you need is a larger tablet that won't even fit in the loo.
No. What I have is I have a third generation iPad. You know what you could do with a third generation iPad? Nothing.
No.
Throw it away.
Nothing. Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
YouTube doesn't even work on it.
Well, here's the thing I found out.
You have to use the browser.
Here's the thing
Yes.
I found out. If you've installed an app under your Apple account on another iDevice, it will show up on your list of like owned apps or previously installed apps. And if you
Right.
reinstall it from that list, it will install an older version of the app. So you have to have already installed the app on a device in order to be able to install it on an older device. So YouTube goes, all you simply need to do is go grab a newer iPhone, log into your Apple account, install all the apps you want to install, then go to your old device, and they'll show up there in your own apps, and you install from there. I don't have a newer iDevice. This is the only iPortable device I have. So I'm like, okay, how hard could it be to emulate an iDevice? Well, there are iDevice simulators to test apps, but because of the way they work, they do not work with the App Store. So you can't do it that way. So yeah, it's useless. It's absolutely useless unless someone wants to give me a newer device.
No.
Throw it in the garbage.
At which point, why would I need the older device if I have the newer device?
So
Set it on
question
fire.
is what apps are on it?
Well, I reset it to default, so none. I got a version of Angry Birds to install.
Well,
on
you
it.
have a browser.
Yeah, well, it's got Safari.
So to use
It's
YouTube,
got-
you have to use the browser.
I could do that.
And by the way, I have an iPad 4,
Yeah.
and YouTube quit working, and you uninstall it, reinstall it. It's on the list. It should grab a nice older version. It doesn't.
Well, that's
So that little trick you said does not work.
I think that trick works with the caveat of as long as the provider of that service has whatever services are on that allow the old version of the app to work. Like you can install the
And
old
Google
version.
doesn't give a shit.
You can install the old version of the app. That doesn't mean the old version of the app's going to work. Because if YouTube turned off services or, upgraded things that require a newer technology, that's going to break the older app. So it sounds like what you're saying is even if I manage to get a YouTube app to install on here, it's going to say no. Yes, Lulu has the right idea. Put down the
Leave me
iPod.
alone.
No, I'm jealous. I could use that.
I'm running out of
Yeah.
beauty.
That works.
Anyways, I found a fun activity to partake in last Thursday.
Oh, really?
Get completely wasted and shit-faced with your coworkers.
There you go.
So, luckily I'm still getting emails from recruit. No, I'm kidding. I'm fine. No, well, the company I works for, they have this great way to save money, and that is to have the Christmas party towards the end of January.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Uh-huh.
That is brilliant, isn't it? Because then the venues are all cheaper. So last Thursday.
And hey, that's when the wise men show up.
Yeah.
That's when the wise men show up.
Well, there was a bunch of wise
How
guys.
adorable!
There were a bunch of wise guys at this party.
There are a few people that still have their Christmas lights out. That's because they're waiting for the wise men.
Yeah.
Of course, they came in
And
to
still
reach-
turned them on.
And we got a wise guy here that doesn't know how to mute his mic when he's taking a piss, but that's besides the
I was pouring a drink.
aha,
Right.
a likely story. Yeah, that is
So how much vodka have you consumed today, venison?
Just a little bit. Now
Bullshit.
we're going to have the. Now we're going to have the main course.
just a little bit, only one bottle. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, they had the holiday party last Thursday, which means everyone worked a half a day, or barely worked a half day. And then we went off to a fine establishment with open bar. And I found that I work with an interesting group of people when it comes to open bars. So holiday parties like that, they have to set up certain rules of the open bar. Because so at a certain point they stop serving mixed drinks and only serve beer and wine. And that's disappointing when that hour crosses and you find out and you go up, you're like, yeah, get me another gin and tonic. And it's like, no, it's beer or wine only. Like, yeah, okay, Boston Lager, And there was,
So I had a company picnic,
mm-hmm,
which is in the summer,
yeah,
And the HR director did not want alcohol at all because he's a Mormon.
Well, he doesn't have to drink
Fortunately,
it.
the CEO overrode his.
Good man.
Says, "Yes, we will."
There we go. That took care of that then. So then I noticed that they're going to stop serving drinks at a certain point. The beer after they switch to beer and wine. So one guy had this brilliant idea. He got a beer. He walked around. He found a table. He put it down. Walked around. Went back to the bar. Asked for another beer. This way, he had a beer stashed for after the bar stopped serving drinks, so he could have one more. And then after that ran out, we all went bar hopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a good story that I read earlier.
Yeah.
So this guy would go into the bar and order 3 beers.
Okay.
And the people were watching him having 3 beers. These are draft beers. You want to get, they're better if you get them one at a time.
Right.
This is a beer for me, and these other 2 beers are for my 2 brothers. So he's having a beer with his brothers, even though they're out of town. And they do this day after day, and people started to notice. And then one day he came in and only ordered 2 beers. People are going, uh-oh, so one of the brothers died.
Right, the obvious conclusion.
They're all sad and whatever. And he says, oh, no, that's not what happened. My wife decided that we're going to become Baptists, so I can't have beer anymore. But that doesn't affect my brothers.
Yeah, I read that a couple days ago.
So it doesn't count if you're drinking someone else's beers.
That's correct.
That's okay.
Beautiful.
That's what I've been doing my whole life. My brother's not always with me, and I go drinking. So I've only been ordering one at a time.
I'm not an alcoholic. That's my brother's beer.
That's my brother's beer. Yeah. Likely story. But no, it was great fun. And
say that in an AA meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna go for that.
That's almost bad as one as, these 2 guys are driving down the road, and he goes through a red light. And he says, why do you go through a red light? Because my brother drives like this. And he goes through another red light. You're doing it again. My brother drives like this. They come to the green light, and they stop. He says, what'd you stop for? My brother might be coming the other way.
Oh, good one. Actually, a friend of mine in high school, there's this stop sign, in the middle of nowhere, 5 miles in each direction. And one day he just blew through the stop sign because, what the hell? It's in the middle of the road. There's no one here. Anyway, a cop saw this and he pulled him over. He says, why'd you go through the stop sign? And the guy said to the cop, because I didn't see you. And the cop let him off.
Nice.
That's the best part. He let him off.
Well, that reminds me of the story about this there's this elderly couple, and the wife is watching the news and sees a news report of a car driving the wrong way on the interstate, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's the route my husband takes home. I better call him and warn him." And so, she calls him up, and he picks up the phone. She says, I want to warn you, there's some idiot on the interstate driving the wrong way. Keep an eye out. He goes, one? I've passed at least 5 people going the wrong way.
Mookie Mick writes, I think I read that joke in Laughter, the Best Medicine. in a Reader's Digest from 1983, old but still a classic.
Which just goes to show, I think I read all of these jokes in like 90s editions of the Reader's Digest, so I think they've been recycling their material. Just read Reader's Digest for 5 to 10 years and you can stop.
That's right. Or you could watch Oak Island, The Curse of Oak
Oh,
Island, and
no.
keep up with it.
No.
They're
No,
about
no,
ready
no,
to
no
find
Oak
the
Island.
gold.
I forbid Oak Island on this show.
You know what cracks me up? They're on, I think it's season 8.
Yeah, he goes on
And
anyway.
they're just finding the original searcher shaft just now.
Uh-huh.
How did he go that long and not where the damn thing is?
So
That is where the money pit is.
you mean to tell me the money pit that they've been looking in for 8 seasons was not the money pit?
That's correct. They were going through these other shafts and investigating this and that and the other thing, patch things up between Nolan. You know, there's a big feud between Blankenship and Nolan. That went on
You
for
do
like 20
realize
years.
you just ruined Oak Island for the people who are trying to catch up to it.
So no,
That's
no.
okay.
No. He just saved
No, it's
There's
not.
always
He
there's
just-
always another nugget to find.
he just saved you from 8 seasons of looking in the wrong hole. You're welcome.
There you go. There you
Looky,
go.
Mick,
That's not a
right.
spoiler.
And if
That's
Spoilers!
helpful.
And if there's one thing you
That's
should
helpful.
know, you don't want to get it in the wrong hole. Yeah, that's
That's right. You
Yeah,
might find
about that.
You've been fucking a couch.
Yeah, about that.
You've been
Yeah.
fucking a couch.
Yeah, and
Next
that's
time,
from,
you know,
Grace and
well,
Frankie.
Yeah, well, check this out. Next time you're having a bad day, just imagine this. You're a Siamese
No.
twin.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Siamese twin.
Mhm.
Your brother attached to your shoulder is gay. You're not. He has a date coming in tonight, and you only have one asshole.
Oh, oh, that's bad.
I don't
Siamese twin, and you only have one asshole.
now. How does that work with Siamese twins when they start dating? I mean, that you know, I've watched many interviews with that famous pair of Siamese twins, and they never really explain how that's gonna work. So-
Mookie Mick writes, "You're getting it in the wrong hole is the worst thing a doctor can say to you."
yeah, that
Oh, I thought that was a suppository.
reminds me of the
No, you saying it to the doctor is the worst thing you can
yeah.
say, especially if you're in stirrups.
It's kind of like the story about this group that goes hiking, and one of the kids goes to the leader and is like, you know, I got a really sore foot, and so he goes to the first aid kit and grabs out this big pill, gives it to the kid. Kid figures it's a, you know, pain reliever, whatever, so gets a water bottle and kind of forces this huge pill down his throat. And the leader comes back and says, all right, I got the tub of water, let's get the pill in there so you can soak that foot. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just bad. I
I like
Still-
Lulu's reaction. It's probably as motionless as mine.
yeah. It's like nope. That was a very poor attempt at a joke. Just no, we're not.
Was there a joke in there?
Yeah, it
Was there?
yeah, the joke
Because
was.
I'm not following.
It's like it was a pill that would dissolve into a bath for a foot bath, but he like swallowed the pill like it was a pain reliever, but it wasn't a pain reliever. It was,
Sure.
you know, like a, you know.
Okay. You know, when you have to explain a joke, it isn't a joke anymore.
You know, I say these words and you understand what they mean, and then you find them humorous.
Milky Vic wants to know if this is the rehearsal for the Comedy Roadshow.
Yes. Can you imagine if we took this show on the road?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if how we get this on the road.
this is bad. This is bad.
All right, you know what we should talk about though. I had one of these.
No.
No.
No, we don't know what you want to talk about.
I want to. Well, I had a funny memory this past weekend. Cause
Oh no.
well, it's one of these things that every now and then it pops in my head. Hey, I should Google that and see what that was, and take a trip down memory lane. And I never remember to, until finally this past weekend. Eating a little breakfast, and I'm thinking
God help us all.
and I started thinking back to kindergarten. You all remember kindergarten, right?
No,
No, you don't. You don't remember it at all.
not really. I remember that kindergarten and first grade were in there were a house for kindergarten.
Oh.
First grade.
Your
What?
microphone cuts out periodically.
Oh,
There's a
is
house
that?
for kindergarten and first grade.
separate houses though.
I see.
That's about all I remember.
Okay. No,
And the house for first grade was actually split into 2 rooms. I
oh,
think because so they have separate classes.
I see.
I don't know what that was really
Well-
about. Hey, I was in first grade. What the hell did I know?
I.
But my first grade teacher was a Southerner, so I picked up a Southern accent that I can kind of turn on gently, shall we say.
I thought after first grade you were done with school because that was like first, like number one, like top, like done. And then I found out there was a second grade and that the numbers kept going up. I'm like, well, geez, when does this ever stop?
That's right.
Yeah, it's like kindergarten,
Yeah, they got
first
you. They got you
grade,
hooked.
done. But yeah.
Well, see, and then we moved after first grade, and we were in second grade.
Yeah.
So that was completely different.
Well, I moved.
And the school that we were going to wasn't completed yet. So we spent our first month or so in a different school,
Mhm.
and then our school opened. Then we moved to our permanent school.
Well, now
That was interesting.
I moved during kindergarten, but I moved towards the end of the year kindergarten. So I spent most of my kindergarten in Piscataway, so not far from Venison's neck of the woods. But I don't. But the thing is
And
that
not that far from Hoboken, which is funny.
Hoboken. Ooh, I'm dying again.
Actually, how far is Piscataway from Hoboken?
well, let's map this. Let's
About 25 miles.
about 25 mile. There we go. Anyways, I just remembered that there were these inflatable creatures that were okay. Lulu's ready to.
It's turning into a zombie or something. I'm not sure what that is.
I think she's having a fit.
I'm hoping it's not a stroke
I-
because we've already have too many of those.
So there were these like
No, I didn't look like that.
so early into like the first week in kindergarten, our teacher told us that we were going to be having a visitor come to the class that day. And so I was like, a visitor? Who could be visiting the class? And she's like, oh, I think our visitor's here, and opens up the door. And I'm like, well, I didn't hear anyone knock on the door. And she brings in this inflatable this inflatable person thing with a big Q, and Mr. Q, who's quiet. And then she had a record, and we played the song about Mr. Q, who's quiet. And so there was, different inflatable characters for every letter, and we get a new visitor periodically. And what? Lulu just doesn't want to. But don't you want to hear about Mr. T, the original Mr. T? This
okay, yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
and I'm showing this on the. So we're gonna go ahead and Mr. T. Now Mr. T looks like the thing that psychedelic nightmares are made out of because he's got tall teeth, and he sings a song about his tall teeth. Well, you're gonna shoot us with a battery now? Anyways, if you bring up the Twitch or the YouTube, you can see what I'm sharing on the screen over in, yeah. So I guess you didn't have this in kindergarten.
Nope.
Okay. Well, this isn't coming to being until like the 70s. So, you know. So Brian and Venison would not have. Now, Sir Mars remembers these. Brian, what are you doing?
My Wii controllers batteries were dead because
Aw.
I had pulled the plug on them. Charging again.
So, what is it with 70s children's television that it looks like it was created by people on acid?
Because it was?
Because
It was.
How did they get away with that?
That was a thing back then.
The kids these days, they don't get to experience these acid trips.
There are lessons on what acid will do to you.
I don't know. The bright colors look fun.
Music, Mr. T. I'm
Kids,
Mr. M.
this is a result
I
of an
found
acid
the sound
trip.
that starts munching mouth. I'd like to know all about your sound. I get my sound.
No!
from sounds of
No! This is wrong!
words like
Anyways, I found a copy of the record for sale on Discogs.com. It's on its way here. So,
No!
Oh my God, D. And you actually bought this?
there's a song for
it
each.
was a dollar bin special.
There's a song for each letter.
So let's get back to
What I've
Lenny and the Squiggle Tones.
Oh, you don't want to talk about how you learned about letters? I mean, did they have any?
Oh, we didn't have anything like that.
You didn't have
We
anything?
had flashcards.
Anything on the
Boring.
flashcards, or just boring?
Yeah, a letter, and a word.
Oh, how are you gonna learn from
Venison,
that?
do you want to read that one?
Boring, boring.
Read that one! That would fit you perfectly. What, Miss...
Okay, Mookie writes in, I came here for tips on how to pick up chicks and how to talk to the ladies. Now I'm getting this stuff on a psychedelic, the letter people creation that would have frightened me as a child and scarred me for life. None of this will help me. Okay,
Well, you see, those people that were scarred for life are called millennials.
well, we all have our own ways of picking up chicks. I started an internet radio show and got my wife to call in. Venison does things with a tarp and Crisco. Brian, I don't know how you met your wife.
He met his Asian wife while shipping around a
Oh, that's
fake
right.
puppy.
You met your Asian wife in Singapore by saying, "Here, hold this dog while I take your picture." That's
Right.
and Lulu just smokes a lot of pot. That would probably work too.
So did I.
I'm sure you can meet lots of people smoking pot. I think Lulu's got the best idea
Oh,
here.
yeah, I did.
Smoke pot
Oh! Hi, Beans!
Oh, look.
No!
and have a
We have
cat.
a black
Don't go
cat.
that way. You're going to step on the cord.
Best way to get pussy is to have a
I-
cat.
Come here.
Oh,
But
Hi, baby.
I met a shitload of people on pot.
And black cats are the best.
yes.
Hi. Hi.
Lots of them do.
All right.
Nice, long hair.
Now, Brian, how did you meet the non-Asian wife?
We should give we should give the Asian wife
we
a
should
name.
we should give some tips or advice to.
Yes, June, real people.
Mookie ready and so I should find a lady that has watched this and then comfort her. I see, and get a cat immediately. Yes. Just go to the place where singles meet, singles bar, grocery store, whatever, and just start going tall. My teeth are so tall, and if you see a traumatic look on a woman's face, you're like, she's been traumatized by this. I'm gonna go comfort her now. It's like, it's okay.
So there's this video that's going around where this guy is holding this cat, and that cat is a biter, right?
Okay.
He's got
my
his
cat
hand out
bites
there, and the
too.
cat's biting him. So he just grabs the paw, and he bites the cat's paw, and the cat goes, what the hell?
Cats are all fine with biting, but if you bite back, then it's like, oh, hell no.
I bought mine in the nose, and he's like, "What the fuck, Ma? Why are you bombing me on the nose? I just wanted to eat your fingers."
All right,
Little
so I'm
bitch.
looking for this thing that you sent me, and I just clicked on the Amazon link you sent, but it just links me to Amazon Music.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this is Lenny and Squiggy. Lenny and the Squig Tones.
The Squig Tones. So Lenny and Squiggy were two characters on the Laverne and. Did you watch Laverne and Shirley Venison?
Yeah,
That's
once
a
in a
spin-off
while.
of Happy Days.
Yep. Yeah, watch it now and then.
So
So you could buy a record for $60 from Amazon.
right. So this is something that was out on vinyl. I don't think it went to CDs or cassettes or anything else. It was just a short-term deal. And rather than end up in the dollar bin special, and they only came out with one album. Rather than being a dollar bin special, it is a collectible. So that's why this guy thinks he can get $60 for this. And I haven't heard it, so I don't know if it's any good or not.
Well,
It's under the comedy section.
okay, well, apparently it's a live album. Okay.
So you found it.
I found someone posted it to YouTube.
Cool.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Elmer Valentine's Fabulous Roxy in the heart of the strip. We're Lenny and the Squig Tones. I'm Lenny. And I'm the Squig Tones. So sit down, relax, and dance to the rhythmless beat of Lenny and the Squig Tones. I'm Lenny. And I'm the Squig Tones. So sit down, relax, and dance to the rhythmless beat of Lenny and the Squig Tones.
Okay, all right. So we've introduced ourselves. That's a good start.
Actually, it doesn't sound so half bad. I mean, it's kind of goofy, but
It's called Night After Night, and it's about 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
it's a bunch of greaser dudes.
We could add this into our
So the
road
other
show.
link I had was eBay, and the guy sells it on CD, but it's MP3 files. So I'm guessing that he had the vinyl, he ripped him to MP3 files and put it on CD.
That is all kinds of
Well,
stupid.
he says in the ad, oh, by the way, this won't play in a CD player. You have to put these on a device to play MP3s. You know that most ripping tools will allow you to create a music CD,
and it will fit on a music
right?
CD.
And you could have said that way. Of course, in any way or fashion, he's violating a copyright, right?
Oh yeah.
And oh, by the way, the guy that wrote the songs is still alive. He was the actor that played Lenny,
Yeah.
and he's done a lot of characters throughout the years. And he was a character on, oh, that's right, Grace and Frankie. He is the latest boyfriend of Frankie. which is Lily Tomlin. Although that season, they throw all the episodes of a season at once, and maybe by later in the season he's gone. But we'll see. I'm on like episode 4.
Let's see. Mookie writing in
I think
Laverne.
this is way better than Disco. Way better.
Hey, I like Disco.
And I don't. And there's so much better alternatives.
Now, Mookie is suggesting
Do you know who
Spinal
this guy
Tap.
Mulvaney is, by the way?
Who?
Mulvaney. I don't know that much about him, but apparently he has a show with other people,
Mulvaney.
including.
All right, let's see. Mick Mulvaney? No.
I
I
think so.
Admits quid pro quo with Ukraine. What? No, I don't think that's the Mulvaney you're talking about.
No, that's not the one. No,
No.
this is a comedian.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Or maybe I screwed up the guy's name. I think it's a
June thinks that was
a Netflix thing that he does. But and on it is the guy. What's the name of the guy that's the leader of Talking Heads?
Wait. John Mulaney, I think is who you're talking about.
Mulaney. There you go.
Yeah, he has
Mulvaney.
he has a story about how he accidentally got a prostate exam.
Accidentally. Oh yes.
Well,
Did
yeah.
he back into something?
No, it was really an accident.
Very nervous.
And
all the
went back
time. Not
every
even about,
Tuesday.
like, major life things, just like about in everyday situations.
Like here,
Like this is my regular speaking voice, but if I'm in a public bathroom and someone knocks too suddenly on the stall door, I go into a whole different speaking voice, which is, "Hey, someone's in here."
anyways, yeah, that's the guy you're talking about. Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on
Did it again.
Colbert, I think.
But yeah, I think the gist of the accidental prostate exam has to do with like he was going to the doctor to get a prescription for pot, but he had to make up a reason why he was there, and the thing he made up resulted in a prostate exam happening because he got in too far. And well, anyways,
That is the best copay you've ever paid.
And Mookie, what TV show?
And Mookie wants to turn it up because that's probably funnier than anything we will say tonight.
So Venison was asking what TV show is that?
Let's Google it.
And Mulaney was on.
Let's see. John Mulaney TV show. Looks like Mulaney. Mulaney is an American sitcom that aired on Fox from October 5th, 2014 to February 15th, 2015. So,
Why I never watched it.
No, there's something that's current that he's in.
well, that talk show circuit, stand-up specials, that's pretty much what he's up to as far as I know of these days.
Never heard of it or don't remember.
Oh, this is it. Yeah. And this is on children's musical comedy special. John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch.
Okay.
And that includes
Uh-oh. Your mic cut out again.
Never heard of it.
Find it?
Yeah. Well,
Dibba-dabba-dabba-dabba.
it's there now. It keeps on doing this like random cutting
Just-
thing. I almost
Piece
want.
of garbage. I may have to go back to my soundboard.
Well, you know that voice activation level. You might need to move it to the left a notch or two.
Aha. fuck is that? That's under preferences, right?
No, that's on the actual. You don't even have to open anything up. In the bottom, there's 3 sliders. There should be 3 sliders.
Yeah.
And there's the one that's next to the guy with the green shirt with the lines coming out of his mouth. The further to the left that is, the quieter a sound that will unmute. So, anyways,
We'll try that.
all right.
Sorry about the cough.
So clearly, my planned topic has been a bust. No one wants to talk about. No one had as exciting a kindergarten as me. Apparently, I had all the excitement with the inflatable letters, which is a lot more fun than inflatable sheep to a kindergartner.
Anyway, so this show is on Netflix.
Okay.
Just to
no.
the one with the sack lunch bunch.
The sack
And
lunch bunch.
who's the guy that was in?
I had a much more depressing kindergarten than you.
Okay, all right then.
I got sent home because the teacher couldn't fucking understand.
Oh
'Cause
yes.
she was racist.
Okay.
So we're
that
still on
sucks.
the school topic?
No, we kind of
Well-
we've gone around a few topics. We were talking about Mulaney, and we were talking about the sack lunch bunch. I have no other material, so I was like, well, my whole kindergarten thing was a bust. Now, Lulu,
Yeah.
Lulu.
Because he's trying to say
Lulu
that
probably.
his kindergarten wasn't as bad or was worse than anyone else's. And I'm saying, no, it wasn't.
Well, Lulu probably smoked her first joint in kindergarten. So
No, I actually didn't start smoking until I was, let's see, I tried it when I was 16, and then I didn't really start smoking until I was 20.
okay. Mookie wants to know if he can set the topic.
Sure.
We'll throw anything out there. We'll see what we can do. 5-Hit Dune gave us a pineapple. I'm not sure.
Good.
Pineapple.
Pineapple for what?
I don't know.
Pineapple. Oh, and I've never touched a cigarette.
Cool. Mookie wants us to talk about what makes each of us laugh. What type of comedy?
Oh.
Wow, that's
It's broad.
I love a good fart joke. Bathroom humor does get to me, and I think I got that from my mom. She loved the scene in Dumb and Dumber when the guy is just like having like the huge diarrhea fit on the toilet when he's going on the date there because Jim Carrey's character put the X-Lax in his drink, and she also introduced us to the scene in Blazing Saddles where they were all eating
I was
beans.
about to say, greatest fart jokes ever.
Yeah. But I don't even know if that's what makes me laugh the hardest. It's hard to say what is that. I loved Mr. Bean. That was great comedy, especially all right, let's go around. I've said a few things already. Lulu.
I have a very cringy, sadistic, very eclectic kind of comedy, I guess. I laugh at horror movies. Right now
Well,
I'm
scary movie is just funny.
Yeah, they're just like The Exorcist. I'm like, aw, she's spitting pea soup. That's adorable. I mean, like, oh, she's fucking a crucifix. Ow. I'm that
Wrong
kind
hole.
of person. I mean, like, yeah, wrong hole. I mean, like, there is a part of it that does creep me the fuck out. I'm gonna be honest, when she's like, having her head twisted upside down and she's all of a sudden like sprinting down the stairs, crab like, that fucking creeps me out. But like everything else, I'm just like, You know? It was just,
Yeah.
Okay.
That reminds me of when he said, sadistic humor.
Hold on.
What? Oh. Well, okay. Let's see what she's gonna.
Sorry, apparently they can hear me over the TV.
Oh. Well, clearly they should be tuning into this show. What's on TV right now that's any better than this?
I don't know, but apparently they can hear me over the TV.
Well.
Good.
Well,
I don't know, man.
if they let you paint the floor, that might have helped soundproof it a little better. By a whole.
Well, I
millimeter.
think the rugs will fix that.
The rugs will fix that. There we go. No, what I was gonna say was talk about like a sadistic type of humor. That reminds me of one of the things that made Kristen laugh the hardest was what movie is that? Is it the beginning of Meet Joe Black where the guy gets hit by two cars simultaneously,
Yeah.
bounces off the one, then bounces off the other. And that and I see it is hilarious. Just the boom, the timing of it and everything that just gets her every time. Brian,
Yeah, I mean, like it's like that, and then like there's times in like Fifth Element, like with Ruby Rod, like his whole situation and what Lilu does. I mean, like those type of movies too. So. Like, yeah, there's serious elements in it, but to me, they're funny. There's cock jokes. There's, like, it's very eclectic for me. So I can't just say one topic or one type of comedy, because I can sit down and watch a really old Robin Williams stand-up.
Oh, yeah, Robin Williams was usually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or George Carlin.
Carlin was awesome. It was
or,
very cerebral.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Like, there's
Very.
a lot of different stand-up comedians I can watch. But at the same time, I can laugh at a fucking 5-year-old's joke.
Yeah, like it's funny.
No.
It's funny, Brian, that you mentioned John Mulaney to me because he was someone that I stumbled onto his accidental prostate exam bit on YouTube, and that kind of started me just down the path of watching a bunch of his stand-up routines, and I was laughing my ass off at those. Everyone around me on the train was wondering what was up with that, but
what's so funny? Yeah,
it's your face. That's what's so. Anyways,
I mean, I love a good prank call.
Oh yeah.
If you can find me a fucking good prank call, oh my god.
Muradilia,
I laugh
Bon
the fuck
Cupeliana,
out of that.
Mega Grossa Porca Miseria, De Faccia Brute. That's. I don't know if you remember that phone scam from the guy is calling the cake shop because he wants to order a wife for like his a cake for his wife's birthday. And he keeps on reading this inscription. I want you to put on the cake a Miradelia, Bon Cooperliana, Mega Grossa Porca Miseria, De Faccia Brute. How do you spell that? I don't spell. Miradelia, Bon Cooperliana, Mega Grossa Porca Miseria, De Faccia Brute. Yeah. And at some point he's like, now, can you do me a favor? Can you put a little poison in the cake? Can you... My wife,
that reminds me
Miradelia,
of.
she's big like a bread truck.
That's another thing. Oh my god. For the
I
past
forget
couple
who
of
was
months,
the comedian that was dressed up as a priest.
I don't know. But what we are getting to, Brian, you should talk about.
Sarducci.
You should answer
Yeah, Guido Sarducci.
So this is what makes you laugh.
Well, no, that reminded me of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought I always liked him. But he just had the one act. He was dressed as a priest, and he was saying all these silly things, talking like an Italian, right?
I see. So he's Italian
Almost
priest.
as good as the samurai character that John Belushi would do. He was funny.
Mm. Yeah.
Very.
But yeah, so George Carlin, yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
Tops. Robin Williams was just
Oh, Robin
like
Williams
he
is
would do it like
hysterical.
making it up on the spot.
Yeah.
That's what he does. Total improv.
Yeah.
That's what makes him great.
Mookie writing in, Don Novello played Father Guido Sarducci.
There you go.
There we go.
Someone's gets ace for the internet today.
And Venison, what makes you laugh?
Oh God, it's broad. Totally broad. I love movie quotes. I love stand up. Totally. I love situation comedies. They're all fantastic.
See,
And
that's what I like about Grace and Frankie, is their talking topics. It's on Netflix, and the
but
ratings are all wide open, and they talk about anything.
oh yeah, but I also love topical humor. One of the latest ones I read, and I don't know word for word, but it's good enough. This guy gets on his bus and hears this lady talking in a foreign language. And he gets offended and stands up and says, "Hey lady, this is America. We speak English here. Why don't you go back to Mexico where you came from?" And she gets up and gets in his face and says, I was speaking Navajo, a Native American, language.
Right.
Why don't you, you want to speak English? Why don't you go back to England where you came from? I laughed my ass
Yeah,
off.
that's a good one.
Boom!
What's even funnier if the guy actually came from Germany.
And there's lots of
But we
great
didn't
movie
speak
quotes,
English
too.
there.
Mm.
Now, Gators, do you remember this quote? There's no way I'm going to walk around with my dork hanging out.
I'm not.
You remember what movie?
No, I don't remember that one
Oh,
off the top of my
well.
head.
Heavy Metal, Den.
Oh, yeah, I've not seen that whole movie. I've seen parts of that.
Oh, dude, you should see the whole movie.
I need to download. I need to legally obtain a copy and watch that all the way through one of these days.
Want me to send it to you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna check if it's available to me on my on my Fire Stick. I'll type it in the search and see if there's something that's streaming it for free right now or whatnot.
That's an awesome. That's an awesome movie. oh man! And another thing that had me roaring was when this big UFO sits there and comes over Washington, and these guys in the senators are arguing, and this one professor says, first of all, there is no confirmation of life anywhere else in the universe. We are the only species, and all of a sudden he starts fucking up electrically, sparks come out of his neck and all like that, and this big tube comes through the roof and sucks him back up, along with his girl. And and she ends up in his room with 3 guys, and they were like, oh man, who's the chick? And it turns out that it's 2 guys, 1 big dude, 1 skinny dude, and a robot. And the robot moves in and says, you must be really, freaked out at the moment. Come with me, I'll give you a glass of fresh Floac. And he walks off with her. One of the lines I love was, oh wow, first Earth chick we've seen in 10 years, and he's not gotta make a play for her. Now, the thing is, those 3 people are, what makes me laugh about it, they're the 3 people that I knew the most. It was exactly like them. My friend, Plankton, Bob, and me. they acted just like him. Guy walked off with a girl, which he's done several times, and the other two was in there saying, you know, you gotta eat that plutonium Nyborg left. Yeah, it's in the transmitter compartment. And so it spread all these lines out on the floor with this giant sack, you know, and it took on a machine that was putting on the floor. And the one thing you see all of a sudden is these big noses appear in front of their faces. And you just go, snow dive! And you start snorting this shit up. That now,
Yeah.
it was great as they started landing at this one space station, huge, and they come into the entrance barely, and the greatest quote I heard was, you know your perspective's fucked. You just gotta work the controls as if you're straight.
So Mookie wants to know what's going on. What's going on is you get to hear the reading of heavy metal as read by Venison. Which, why would you want to watch it when you could listen to Venison describe it to you in detail? What's happened is
just that one part.
What's happened is I've let this go on for too long. Is what's happened.
Too bad.
I just wasn't sure at what point this was going on too long, and now I realize that.
Oh yeah, right. You go on for half an hour about Mulaney, this stupid,
Mookie. Okay, all right. Mookie just wanted knock jokes, basically. Well, you know what makes me laugh a lot is Sloan. Sloan has made me laugh a lot, and the thing is, I was talking to Dune about this yesterday because Sloan called in to the show yesterday, and he's thinking of coming back to doing some kind of internet streaming of some sort. We're not sure the details on that, but I think he's got the desire to do something, and it could be very interesting, I think. And but Sloan's humor, it was the subtle parts. Not that his humor was subtle, but there was subtlety within his humor. Like, everyone remembers shit in the microwave.
Shit in the microwave. Shit in the microwave.
You know what my favorite part of shit in the microwave was? My favorite part of shit in the microwave, well, first of all, the way shit in the microwave started was after he promoted the Sloan shit bag live over the phone. Before he hung up, he just matter-of-factly goes, oh, by the way, I jacked off in the microwave earlier, and it turned brown. And then he hung up the phone, which was followed by about 45 seconds of Damon barely able to breathe because he couldn't stop laughing. And when he got Sloan to call back in, Sloan explained that he jacked off in the microwave and set the timer for a certain amount because that was half the time to cook popcorn. And I thought that was great, that he based how long to run the microwave with the jizz in it based on the timing of popping popcorn. There was no logical reason why the time of one would affect the time to cook the other, but it was just what made sense to him in his head, and it was just that nonsensical throwaway line there, because that's half the time to cook popcorn, that just made me just burst out at that moment.
And the ferret's dead.
That was awesome. Well, it turned out the ferret wasn't. He thought the ferret was dead, and well, by the end of the bit, the ferret was definitely dead. I've sent you that file, right, Brian?
I don't remember it.
Oh God!
There's the deniability.
Mookie writing in, if it was half of Jiffy Pop time, then he has a case of premature ejaculation.
That is the one thing that brought me to this station. Because one of the first times I called in, there was a time that Sloan appeared with that for the first time. And I listened to the whole thing and I was ruined. I was destroyed.
Well, the thing is, I got the Sloan archives from Sloan. Well, Damon got the Sloan archives from Sloan, and then he gave me a copy. And he's not easy to clip, because he was very much all over the place, stream of conscious type of, thing. And
Oh yeah.
but and like he come back from a break and like his little da 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 music would go, and he just get on mic and be like out of nowhere, and it was hilarious. I can't even do it justice with my attempt, but I'm trying to find. I have a few clips somewhere with little funny moments I isolated from.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I said, I wrote to him. I said, there's no way I can do clips of you. There's no way I can do some kind of routine with you.
Well,
you are too outrageous. You are the Sloan.
Well,
that's it.
Here are my attempts to do clips of Sloan. So we have this.
So Sloan does a solo act. Is that what I'm hearing?
What's that?
He does a solo act.
Well, he did. He was one of the early shows on NHB when the NHB radio network started adding other shows, and yeah, it was basically Sloan and a microphone. But he didn't only do solo. He'd have Neighbor Dyke on with him sometimes. He'd have the Rite Aid Hippie on with him sometimes. There was apparently Blue was there at points in time, but I think she was more present in the area rather than on mic. I never heard that era of shows. But
Approximately when was this done?
Oh, he started his show like in 2002? 2003 is when the earliest recordings come from, but I think there were shows he was doing that never got recorded. So around that time, and he did that, for up to like, I think 2006 is when he last did a goddamn show. But like he would randomly just say things like,
if you put 25 cents in a gumball machine, a monster will come out and bite your balls off.
Here was another out of nowhere thing.
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna buy me a hooker. I'm gonna buy me a hooker. Gonna rip her to shreds. Gonna stick a ginsu up her twat and twist around and make amens.
So that's a bit of a dark humor.
That sounds pretty disturbing.
That's disturbing. But
yes.
But it's like he just improvises singing a song and just kind of goes let's
Hi, I'm an actor. La 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 la. Help me dance around like a fucking retard.
He should do mime.
Brian, look at it this way. It's called give a person who's a raving lunatic give him a mic and say go for it.
Take that prior clip that you did, the disturbing one.
Mm-hmm.
Send it to his local humor.
Yeah, that's the humor. Turn him into the police is the humor.
Yes, right.
I don't think so.
We're looking for some unsolved crimes.
No, that's not humor.
Right here on the Amateur Hour.
That's not humor.
We know how to do it. Isn't?
No.
Lulu, what do you think? Is that humor? Searching for some unsolved crimes.
She's shaking her head no. I'm trying to find more Sloan isolations. I know I have a few. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, I got a few here too. I can't play them.
I shouldn't have played the ones I did play. And of course, he would do the Sloan dance. The
Was that fast or slow?
Well, it was to the Kinks.
Oh.
I think I have a recording of that where he just kind of just starts screaming and going nuts to the Sloan dance, because that's what you did.
So that's a video clip, correct?
Well, no, there was no video. It was all audio. It was.
Uh-oh. You know what time it is, folks? It's the fucking Sloan dance! Girl. Everybody get up from the computers and start dancing, you cock faces. Everybody get up and dance. But I'm walking along a piece of land where the supermarket used to stand.
And that's the Sloan dance. Sing along and tell everyone to dance. It's the Sloan dance.
Kind of missing the video on it.
You don't need the video. You just get up and dance.
Uh-huh.
Do what he says. You didn't have to see
So
him
do you like
dance.
the new Peloton commercial where the guy goes out and does bad karaoke?
Also known as just karaoke.
No, it's bad karaoke.
There's
Yeah, I saw that.
there's-
Oh, it was
there's
stupid.
good karaoke. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you do have a point there.
I'm sorry. What's
It
the?
was dumb.
I haven't seen this commercial. Karaoke commercial.
You don't
Well,
wanna
I mean,
see
they
it.
don't say that, but so this kid's in this other room and he hears this noise. Well, his dad went into the room where the Peloton machine, and he gets on it, and he starts sing along with his other buddies that are online.
I see.
And it does sound pretty awful. Talk about
Yeah.
people that don't have rhythm.
Ah.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind.
Yeah. That's a
I don't have
definite
rhythm.
never mind.
No. I have rhythm.
Yeah, but then again, you have a degree in music, so you better.
I can't sing that well, but I got rhythm.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's multiple aspects of music.
Hey, 3 out of 4 of us know how to play the French horn.
Exactly. Lulu, when did you start?
No, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Lulu can't play the French horn. That will definitely disturb the other people in the house. That would.
And I forgot.
So I
how.
went to
That's-
a Boxing Day
that's
party.
not a French horn, that's a
obviously
bong.
The day after Christmas. There you go. And I had a nice conversation with a guy that plays the trombone,
Oh. Now you don't.
and he does some jazz stuff. It's pretty cool.
And you want to make sure
Although
that
he didn't play.
you want to make sure you store your trombone properly in a dry area, because the last thing you want to do is to play a rusty trombone.
They wouldn't even give me a saxophone.
Yeah, make sure that slide still slides, right?
Yeah, no, you don't want to play the rusty.
Otherwise, you become a bugle.
Do we?
I'm sorry, I missed
wanted
your
a
line. I talked over you.
saxophone.
Should we? Do we have to teach Brian what the rusty trombone is now?
Apparently, it's a bugle, right?
All right. I don't know how to
A
explain.
bugle?
Oh boy.
Okay. All
A
right.
bugle.
Let's pull up Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary describes rusty trombone as when a guy gets a rim job and a hand job at the same time from one person. Looks like the giver is playing a trombone with a rusty brown mouthpiece. Carol introduced Bob to the rusty trombone when she stuck her tongue in his ass and tugged on his cock. That is how you would use rusty trombone in the sentence right there.
That's a visual
Yeah.
thing that's
Yes,
not needed.
it is.
Because once you see that, you can't unsee it.
No.
We've educated Brian a lot over the years here. It all started when Brian was talking about teabagging, and I had to explain to him why those of us that are more up on our
back when that was popular.
back when teabagging was
It's
popular.
still-
So Johnny
Popular.
had to explain it to me.
Yeah, I'd explain that taking a tea bag, putting it in an envelope, and mailing it to a congressperson as a protest is not the definition of teabagging. And the people that are using the term as if that's the definition don't realize how foolish they sound. And so I explain.
I'm gonna teabag my politician.
You go ahead. You go ahead. You do that.
Enjoy.
Trump loves teabagging.
I bet his wife teabags
and
him all
and
the
yet
time.
he has Ken Starr on his defense team.
The ultimate teabagger.
Mookie right again. This stream has just made me uncomfortable. I used to play the bass tuba. Wait a minute. Is a bass tuba like an even bigger tuba?
That's a good one.
That's
I liked a Geico ad where is it Geico or the General, where the mother is driving the two guys that are in a band,
Oh, that.
son, and she says, "Here's how we take it up a notch. Bring a tuba to your band," and they're just going, "No, no, 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 no."
You know, I remember, all the years of lugging a French horn to the bus stop, thinking to myself how much easier this would be if I had just said trumpet. That'd be a smaller, lighter, or flute, or piccolo. Heck, you could put a piccolo in your pocket. Is that a piccolo in your pocket, or are you just really tiny? That was.
Or
Oh, you got my French horn
because you
in
put
a
the
case.
drumsticks in your back pocket.
5 miles in the snow, uphill, both ways.
But the thing is French horn is probably about as big as you want to go, because I could not imagine lugging a tuba around. I don't understand the people that play the tuba. Why I mean, maybe you think it's cool and all that, but it's like, dude, you're gonna have to lug that around. You're gonna have to carry that thing. But
The burden that you must carry.
But I guess it's the love of tuba. Someone's got to do it, and besides, if you learn the tuba, and your school happens to do Tubby the Tuba for the concert while you're there, that pretty much guarantees you a solo, unless you have more than one tuba in your band.
Right.
But they ain't nothing
Tuba
wrong.
quartet.
Tuba quartet. There you go. Oh, I played in a French horn quintet, but I think they added 2 more, so I guess that'd be a septet at that point. I think I have the recording of that still. Yeah, here we go. School band recordings, and let's see, the ensemble festival.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, the Frippery number 9.
You're going to play.
Yeah, I'm one of the horns in that. Anyways, that's enough of that.
Boo.
Hey, I thought that was pretty good for a group of horns. Horns are
You
not
would.
easy to play. Oh, could you play that? You
Back then, yes.
You've played the horn. You know that's a hard instrument to play.
Yes, I do.
And here's 7
That's
of
right.
us.
What are all those keys for? It doesn't really matter.
And here's 7 of us just killing it. Heck, you even recorded the rehearsal.
Okay? You understand?
Okay, we don't need to listen to that. All right, bass tuba. I'm curious. Does this mean that? Is bass tuba like a thing that's different from just an ordinary tuba? I got to Google this now.
The Shags were better.
The Shags were. Let's see. All right. Well, that brings up the Wikipedia entry for tuba. Bass tuba. Okay, let's see what this is. Bass tuba. The bass tuba, a common sight in the orchestra, is now a rarity in the band. The tuba we all know and love is the contrabass tuba. The bass tuba is pitched at either in F or E flat, a fourth or fifth below the euphonium. F is the instrument of choice in the United States and for much of Europe, while the E flat instrument is common in Britain. At one time, bass tubas were quite often seen in the concert band, and many older parts reflect this. Look at the tuba part in Holst's first suite in E flat, and you will see a tuba part that is strangely high. The upper part was intended for a bass tuba and not our common contrabass. Oh, okay, so a bass tuba would be smaller than the instrument that we know as a tuba, which is contrabass tuba. Got it. Every professional tuba player will possess both a bass and a contrabass instrument. Some parts, such as the passages.
What the hell is it? Ooh, what's a contrabass bugle?
Contrabass bugle? Well, that'd probably be a big ass bugle. Is what that would be.
Every time you say bugle, I'm thinking of the little cone things that you eat.
Yeah, yeah. And
Same exact thing.
Contrabass
Except
bugles are bigger.
The contrabass thing looks like this.
They're good. Next time I go
those things?
shopping, I want to get them.
What the fuck?
Okay, no, those are sousaphones.
Sousaphones.
Those are sousaphones.
That's not what they call them. No. No. It's the tubing is like a tuba. It's rather than a sousaphone. The sousaphone, the tubing is a big circle.
Oh wait.
This is a big.
Oh, that's the thing that they sling over the shoulder. So what is that? That's a.
That's the contrabass tuba.
Contrabass tuba.
I mean, I'm sorry, contrabass.
Contrabass.
You bitch.
Bugle.
Bugle. Okay. Yeah, our marching band didn't have those, but I had seen.
I've never seen that before.
I've seen that in other marching bands because I've seen them with the big horns that they put over the shoulder, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I mean, we had marching trombones, which a marching trombone is like a overgrown trumpet. Like it's a valved instrument that plays the range of the trombone.
So we had sousaphones.
Yeah. Yeah, we had sousaphones too. Sousaphone, is a perfect name for a marching tuba because, Sousa was the king of the marches, and so you got to have a sousaphone to do a proper march.
Right. Although my favorite instrument my band had was the timpani.
Ah.
Which is a drum, but it's a totally different topic.
I wanted to make contraband.
Mookie Wright said, I like to put them on the tips of my fingers and eat them. Tubas, I mean.
Yes. That's what Lulu was suggesting.
There we go. Eat your tuba.
Actually, a few months ago, I was, at a, just a gas station snack bar, whatever you call it. And they had all these different bags of chips. And I says, it's been a long time since I had bugles. So I bought a bag. And I got it in the car. I started eating it. Says, that's why I haven't eaten these in a long time. They were horrible.
What? They're crispy, crunchy corn chips.
What?
Horrible.
No.
Bugles are horrible.
Okay. Okay. What's your chip of choice?
Pagan.
Well, I like a traditional potato chip.
But
I like Mexican chips and salsa, that kind of thing.
Ooh, chips and salsa.
How do you not like bugles?
Doritos are okay. Tostitos, which is the name brand for a Mexican chip.
You know what? The chips and salsa brings me to our next topic. How's everyone celebrating?
Sorry, I have an emergency. There's ants getting up for my cat's food.
There's ants in your pants, and they need to dance. Anyways,
That's a good filler. Good filler.
good filler. No, we should talk about the Super
Is that
Bowl.
like a Star Wars shirt?
That is a Star Wars
Lulu?
shirt.
Awesome.
She's getting the headphones on.
Okay.
We were just
Sorry.
noticing your Star Wars shirt.
Oh. Yes, I have
What
Star
we
Wars
had,
on.
Star Wars was playing this weekend on, I don't remember what.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had it as background, and you go, oh yeah. There's, and it was, from episode 4 through 6. So,
Mhm.
New Hope and
The real Star Wars.
Empire Strike Backs and Return of the Jedi.
With
And
edits.
those are the awesome ones.
The special edition versions. I take it.
Whatever they were playing
Yeah.
with commercials.
I don't think any TV stations have the original ones on hand anymore.
Yeah, these had some of those extra scenes where, the unnecessary added scenes to the newer version.
Right.
How does that add anything to the plot line? Nothing.
Well, there was a reason they were cut.
He wanted to show off that he had the special effects that he always wanted. We were talking about comedy before, and I forgot this, and that is like old Doctor Who movies, shows.
Yes.
Where the props were just cheap shit that they were doing, and you could tell that's just cheap shits, and it was funny.
Oh yeah.
Here's this new monster. Oh, that's a monster. I don't think that would really scare me.
I'm
Or
still
like the
watching
props
those.
in the original Star Trek series.
Oh yes.
Sometimes that's just the damn cardboard tube.
Yeah. Well,
I gotta watch those again.
So
What happened to the toilet paper that was on it?
your talk of chips and salsa reminded me of Super Bowl Sunday coming up, and we could talk about what do we plan to do for Super Bowl Sunday. You all watching the game? Anyone watching the game?
Apparently,
playing?
there's going to be the game on in my house.
But you're not really care. See, I don't even know.
No.
Well,
I
Brian.
want to watch the Puppy Bowl.
Brian, what about you? You gonna? Oh no! There you go. There you go, Venison.
There you go. He's got the one.
Yeah, that's the game.
We've been invited to a Super Bowl party at this friend of mine's house. We haven't quite decided whether we're going to go, but I think I'll go. And I'm going to bring I'll wear an old Broncos hat from, I recognize is Shanahan. And that's not the guy that I knew. That's the guy's son.
Okay.
One of the coaches is Shanahan. Right?
I don't even know that much, but
with the 49ers.
With the 49ers.
See, you know less than I do.
Well, I know the
So
49ers
I
are in the
make up
game.
some- and I'm following this guy.
It should be a pretty big deal in your area, so
Yeah, because the Santa Clara 49ers are going.
the Santa Clara 49ers. I thought they were the
Yes.
San Francisco 49ers.
They have they're fully in Santa Clara now.
But is the name of the
New
team
stadium.
changed, or they still go by San Francisco?
No, they still go by the old team, but when they changed the name of a sports arena, I continue with the old one. So Pac Bell Park is still Pac Bell Park.
Well, it's like
I don't care if AT&T has got their name on it now.
it's like both of New York's football teams play in New Jersey.
Yes.
They
So
are
New
the
Jersey
New Jersey
Jets-
Giants and the New Jersey Jets. Yes.
It doesn't even have a good ring to it.
Actually,
does it?
New York could keep the Jets. We'll just take the Giants. But
Yeah. Giants are cool.
what were the Jets
Hey, who
last
was
good?
playing in
Now they play actually. Where is their stadium? What town is that in?
What
That's close to Newark, isn't it?
Meadowlands? Yeah, it's where is that?
Yeah, Meadowlands,
Hoboken?
Secaucus.
No, Secaucus.
Wouldn't that be great? The Hoboken Giants.
The Hoboken Giants.
That would be awesome.
Okay, let's
No, then there's Secaucus in the swamp.
no, it's MetLife Stadium, Meadowlands Sports Complex, East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Oh, the
Oh,
Rutherford Giants.
There you go, the East Rutherford Giants. That's
Who was playing in the Super Bowl?
What the San Francisco 49ers and the other team. Who's the other team? I don't.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yes.
Exactly. Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl. Team Rough and Team Fluff is who's playing. And
Or Kansas City, as in when I lived in Denver, that was considered as back east.
So typically, I think we'll probably be doing.
You didn't catch that joke.
I'm sorry. Repeat it.
Kansas City, as in Denver, we would call it back east.
Oh, because they're further east of you. Okay. Well, anyways, so typically we we are all prepared for this year's Super Bowl because we
are.
Well, yes, because Kristen has gotten really good at making hot wings. And, she mixes up the sauce. We get the bottle of, like, the extra hot and the normal hot Frank's Red Hot sauce, buffalo sauce, and balance it out to make it just the right amount of heat, that we want. And she gets the wings and she puts them in the steamer basket to steam them, and then she puts them in the oven, and then she heats up the sauce and she sauces them, and you get that crisp, and so we do this like every other Sunday. And last year, Super Bowl Sunday is coming around, and we go to do our Friday night shopping and to buy a pack of wings like we do every other week. And buying wings for Super Bowl Sunday is kind of like going to church on Christmas. All these people that all year round didn't even bother to ever buy any wings, all of a sudden buy up all the fucking wings, leaving none for those of us that have been there buying wings every other week. You like my little analogy there? Buying wings for the Super Bowl, like, going to church on Christmas.
So just reserve them ahead of time.
So
you know how that's done.
Yes.
That works.
So I didn't even see it coming last year, but this year I was ready. So we bought our wings last week. They're in the freezer. We are all set. We got wings. And then plus, of course, gonna buy me a lime, a few tomatoes, some cilantro, some onion, and you dice and slice that all up. You squeeze a lime on it, and jalapeno peppers, and you make yourself like some. It's not that hard to make salsa. And then you get the tortilla chips, like you were talking about, Brian, and you got your homemade salsa. Kristen likes to make her own guac. She gets some avocados, some onion, some tomato, and all that stuff. Makes a nice, good, chunky guac. Oh, it's great stuff. So we are all set for Puppy Bowl weekend here with our tortilla chips and guac and salsa and hot wings.
You don't get your salsa from New York City.
New York City? I'm gonna have to kick you out of the room for that one. So yeah, that's our plan. So now, Brian, you gonna bring a dish to the Super Bowl party you're going to with your Broncos hat?
It's all undecided.
Oh,
including if we're gonna go or not.
You know what a good, easy to make dish would be that make you ahead of the party. You get your bag of tortilla chips, and you buy yourself a package of cream cheese. If you want to get fancy, maybe buy some green onions. A can of Hormel no bean chili, and some shredded cheddar, and you get a pie plate, and you line the pie plate with the cream cheese. So you let the cream cheese soften, put it in the pie plate, kind of press that with a spoon to line the pie plate. Chop up some green onions, throw that in the cream cheese. Get the can opener, open the can of the no bean Hormel chili. You dump that on top of the cream cheese. You take the cheddar cheese, you sprinkle that on top of the chili layer, and you preheat your oven to something like 250, and you put the pie plate in the oven long enough to heat everything up, and the cheese melts on the top there, and then you got yourself a nice hot chili dip for your tortilla chips with the cream cheese and the no bean chili, and this is why there was a can of chili in my cabinet that fateful night that I started throwing anything and everything I can get my hands on in the blender, which resulted in the catchphrase that I am most well known for, "I've got beef in my teeth." And yeah, that's that right there.
See, we make a chili dip with the Hormel no beans chili,
Mm-hmm.
and we mix in some diced, hot peppers and that sort of thing.
Oh, there you go.
And we throw in a big chunk of Velveeta.
Oh, you're
Stir
doing
that
the,
all up and put it in a crock pot, so it's all.
oh, you're doing
and
the
we run
cheesy
it for
dip.
quite a while, so it all, melts together, so you don't have any separate lumps or anything like that.
Oh, you're doing the cheesy dip. That's now give this one a try
cheesy
sometime.
and meaty. Meaty. The no beans chili is pretty
Well,
meaty.
give this one a try. So if you like cream cheese,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we'll have to look into that.
yeah.
Yeah, the cream cheese. would
I
be
know
good.
that phrase. That's
And you'd eat that with a bagel, right?
no, you dip
I didn't have enough money to buy any of that.
you dip the
stuff.
tortilla in there, and you get some of the, you get the cream
Or
cheese.
hey,
the
here's a good
chili,
thing.
and the
Here's try
cheddar.
this. Try this. Try this. Dip in your Melba toast.
Melba toast?
You don't know what that is?
No, I will
All
not.
these fancy.
Mel-
That's a New York thing, I'm sure.
Melba
Even
toast.
I know
It's like
Melba
a
toast. Even I know that stuff.
yeah. It's like a piece of bread that's cut very thin, but it's cooked, like to make it crispy. That's the best way to describe it.
A cracker?
Well, no, it's so I think they start with a baguette. I'm only guessing,
All right.
and they slice it thinly, and then they bake it till it's crispy,
Melba toast.
or
is-
like toast.
Melba toast is
Yeah.
a dry, crisp, and thinly sliced toast, often served with soup and salad, or topped with either melted cheese or pâté. It is named after Dame Nellie Melba, the stage name of Australian opera singer Helen Porter Mitchell. Its name is thought to date from 1897, when the singer was very ill, and it became a staple of her diet. Okay, all right. Okay, so it's a thin toast.
While she was visiting New York.
The toast was created for her by chef and fan Auguste Escoffier, who also created the peach Melba dessert for her. The hotel proprietor Cesar Ritz supposedly
that's
named
good.
it in a conversation with Escoffier.
Oh, so it was invented at the Ritz-Carlton, or the Ritz before it became the Ritz-Carlton.
Yes.
So very high-end
Cesar
chef
Cesar Ritz
at a
was
famous.
a Swiss hotelier and founder of several hotels, most famously the Hotel Ritz in Paris and the Ritz and Carlton hotels in London, the forerunners of the modern Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company.
Named after Carlton.
So it eventually worked its way over to New York.
So this Australian person was in Paris, got
Oui.
sick, and the chef invented this thing.
And then it came over to New York, and they claimed it as their own. Because
Right.
fuck history.
And that's also where
Oh,
pizza
fuck the
came from.
French.
What's that?
As they immigrated to the U.S.,
Uh-huh.
stopping off at Ellis Island first. I'm just making this shit up as I think.
That's how...
Or I'm not actually thinking, it's just kind of dribbling out.
This is just a stream of conscious type of fictional history at this point. And,
Yes. And I can see Lulu is just sucking it all in.
Just that dribbling
Like a
out.
sponge.
well, she has to be quiet
You want to
because...
see a doctor.
Anyways. Oh,
She must be muted. I
She's
see the
moving her
moving,
mouth.
but nothing comes out.
she's moving her mouth.
Oh, I guess I was muted.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Now you're not. So, did you say anything good that we missed?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know how to read lips, so I have to disbelieve you.
No. I've been silent because I can't speak loudly or have fun. but those two in the living room can speak loudly enough to where my mic will pick it up, so I have to make sure I'm on mute.
I see. But maybe they
Yes.
have something interesting
It's
to say.
hypocritical.
So now you're happy to have your own room and be out of the camper and all that, and now you're counting down the days till you get back to the camper. So
I'm actually curious, how
No.
old is that camper?
83.
83 years old, or from the year 83?
So that's
From the
coming
year-
on
From the
40
year
years
83.
old.
From the year 83.
Yeah.
Okay, so like coming on 40 years old, which
Yeah.
you kind of go, you wish that they would last longer than that, but that seems to
They
be
It's
that's even
kinda
kind of
bad.
above normal. Because I hear about campers that are only a dozen years old and the roof is leaking.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be. There should be a 25-year-old roof, at least.
Hmm.
When the person is using his camper, he's got it in a covered parking space. Like, what the hell is that? You mean he can't live outside?
Hmm.
Yeah, like, I forgot to snow coat it this year. And,
Oh, the snow will coat it
One of the-
automatically.
we don't have snow.
It's a never mind. Like a self-cleaning oven, but a self.
It's not a self-cleaning oven. I wish it was. But
Oh, you turn it
But
on
no,
hot
like,
enough, it'll
I-
clean itself.
I
Right.
wish, but no, it's just, this thing has problems. Like, now there's like not a rat's nest, a mouse nest somewhere in it.
I'll set the cats
Thanks
loose.
to my cat. Dude, my cat brought it in.
Your cat's supposed to bring the dead mice.
Oh.
I know he's supposed to bring the dead mice in, but he brought.
Is this
fucking-
that nice black cat that you had earlier?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, cat, do the job.
You're not supposed to make
That's
friends
what
with
I'm
the
saying.
Killing
mice
bite
and
to the
invite
neck.
them
Do we have
in.
to show you how it's
Oh,
done?
well, maybe
Have
this
I told?
this cat's
Have
thinking
I told
ahead.
you what he's done? Have I told you what he's done?
What has he done?
He's
No.
brought in live birds.
Okay.
He's brought in live birds. They've just flopped around the fucking camper until they find the window that's open.
So he doesn't kill these things.
No, he doesn't kill the live birds, but he's killed
Maybe the
live-
cat
live
is vegan.
mice.
No, this cat's thinking
No.
ahead. This cat's farming.
There you go.
Bringing in the live animals to raise up a herd of mice and birds and
He's stocking up for winter.
and
dude.
stocking up for
He's
winter.
stocking up-
You got to get a good
he's
herd going.
stocking up for winter.
Yeah.
But he's brought in a half live bunny that he proceeded to eat its stomach innards out, and I'd be
Ooh.
like, "Can you kill that already, please?" And he looks up at me and bats at it to make it squeal.
Cats
Oh, yeah.
are vicious.
Sadistic
vicious,
little cat.
Sadistic.
Well, but
He
then
is
again,
fucking
he's a black
sadistic,
cat.
dude.
A black cat, right?
You ever watch a cat with
Total
a
evil.
mouse?
Come here.
You ever watch a cat
here.
with a mouse outdoors? They'll bat it around for a bit and torment it a bit before they actually
is
kill it to eat it.
Binks.
Yeah.
This is Binks. Hello, baby.
Don't let that adorable face fool you. He'll eat you from the
No.
inside out slowly while you die.
He's left mice on my pillow. I've woken up
Oh,
to
that's-
like
that's
mice
that-
in my bed.
That's a
dead
present.
mice.
He's teaching you.
Dude.
He's
Hey,
trying
it
to
could
teach
be
you.
a lot worse.
Wants to
It
make
could
sure
be a
you're
lot
fed.
Worse. What if it was a
Oh, shit.
I
rattlesnake?
guess.
I wonder if I still got a sound clip of this guy putting his rabbit into a snake cage. And the rabbit sees a snake and starts screaming. Starts screaming like hell.
That's awful.
That's just sadistic.
That is.
And
That's a human
Well,
that does that.
Ugh.
he has got to feed the snake, got to eat. But that's that clip went viral.
That says something.
Yeah, a lot of people use that in comedy effects. Like, even doing clips of the Bugs Bunny cartoons
Mm.
using that sound. And yeah, I never heard a rabbit scream like that. It's awful.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a showstopper.
So,
Good.
so what other
No, not
munchies?
good.
What other munchies are on the menu for the Puppy Bowl? Am I the only one making up the munchies for Puppy Bowl, or?
Probably.
And what about Kitten
Oh
Bowl?
Oh my God, chips.
What times is the Kitten Bowl and Puppy Bowl on different times? Because I think I'd like to watch both of those this year.
Yeah, I think they are at different times.
I'm
not sure.
I'm not sure how to feel about the Puppy Bowl, because at this point the Puppy Bowl has become such a huge event that, like, the day of, they have like behind the scenes of the Puppy Bowl, meet the players at the Puppy Bowl. Then they got like the Dog Bowl, where they have older dogs that need to be adopted and let them run around.
Sometimes I worry about that. It's like, what if those dogs start attacking each other?
That'll be fine.
Well, they probably have a rehearsal where the dogs all come together. And
they
make
edit
sure
that
they're all
out.
compatible.
They edit that out. You never see it. If you notice that there's like
Right.
less dogs at the end of the game than there are in the beginning of the game, you know something happened in the middle. They edit it out.
Right.
It's kind of like cutting.
It's the same thing on the field.
It's like counting your fingers before and after each cut, and then you know if you need to start sifting around in the sawdust. You want to count the dogs at the beginning and the end of the game. That way you know if Animal Planet's hiding anything.
Like, oh, am I missing fingers? I don't know.
You don't do that?
Let me just tie some stumps to them.
Count the fingers before and after every cut and make sure your numbers line up.
Well, if you see some fucking blood in the like bandsaw stops due to like the safety.
Well, what if you're
safety switch.
What if you're colorblind?
Oh, wow.
And what if you're not?
Colorblind, you wouldn't see some type of like off gray color in the splatter and feel the wetness of blood hitting everywhere. You're kind of stupid.
A friend of ours, this guy Dan, is colorblind,
Yeah.
and we went to this Filipino restaurant, I think it was, in San Leandro. And, and it was pretty decent, and, we kind of mentioned, okay, like it was chicken or whatever, and I go, you realize that this is basically gray. He says, yeah, it's the other gray meat.
The other gray meat. What's the first gray meat?
He had no idea what the color would be. So,
okay.
Like pork was the other white meat, right?
I'm gonna have to do some DVRing because I just Googled it. Puppy Bowl starts at 2 p.m. Kitten Bowl starts at 2 p.m.
Uh-oh. Conflict.
The fuck's up with that shit? And
you can't watch both.
Well, Super Bowl starts at 6:30. There's plenty of time for both. They should have staggered it so that people. You know what? Both channels would double their ratings if they put the events on at different times from one another.
Yeah, but what happens then at the other time for the other channel?
Run an infomercial or something. I don't know. That's their problem.
In fact, I was looking up the Laverne and Shirley season show, and one of the seasons is opposite a much more popular show. And for a season, they decided it was popular enough so that they moved it to a different day.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that there's one season that very few people watched.
Okay.
Okay.
And they're doing dog lovers and cat lovers and having two different channels so that one can see the other.
Hey. Hey.
Hey, what?
Hey. I sent a photo in the direct message on Twitter.
All right.
Group chat.
Oh, in Twitter. Let me bring up Twitter. In the direct message.
Oh, they were opposite the Waltons. Waltons was a much more popular show, so they had to move it.
Okay, so this is the same face on two different people,
Yes.
but I don't know these people.
What?
I forget who he was, but
Are
that
you
is-
sharing an image here or what?
Yeah, it's on the private message in Twitter.
That's that's I think the girl who, or the lady who played Hermione Granger. Emma Stone?
Walson.
Oh, Emma Watson.
Emma, no, I've got the name wrong.
Watson?
Watson. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lock
but
there.
then beside her is a man that has like the same eye structure,
Yeah.
basically the same eyebrows and the same smile.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Kitten Bowl is on the Hallmark Channel, which is part of my Philo lineup, which I get DVR options with. So I'll set my Philo to DVR the Kitten Bowl, and then I can watch it after the Puppy Bowl.
I don't have that channel.
I'm sure I could find some kind of totally legal and on the up and up streaming service to watch that on. Anyways, still no chats coming in the chat room ever since the Bugle talk. So I don't know if Mookie has just closed the window and gave up on finding any humor today.
He gave up. He gave up on us.
He gave up on. Oh.
Was that when we were talking about? Never mind.
Mookie saying, please consider
Shopper.
a Twitch live stream reaction to Kitten Bowl as it happens. Oh, well, Kitten Bowl was probably the one I was going to DVR. Now, Twitch live stream reaction, how does that work? Does that mean like a full live stream through... would I simulcast, or do you have to do that yourself and just line up my reactions to the... I don't know. Maybe we could do
I
that.
think you would have to simulcast.
I could probably set the...
Which...
I could probably find a way...
Now, how much is lag is there in Twitch?
Oh, not that
So,
much.
if a person watching something on live TV and watching your Trips channel, would your reactions be lagged?
A little bit, probably, unless we simulcast at them, but then that's got copyright issues. I guess the question is, now it's going to be on at 2 p.m. Eastern, so that's 1 Central, noon Mountain, so 11 a.m. Pacific. Although you would also get at 2 p.m. Pacific, but I guess we could... If all four of us are going to do a reaction video.
No, Mookie says, no, the viewers at home watch the same TV show.
And
Okay.
Mookie, hell no. Kitten Bowl, hell no. Puppy Bowl. Because puppies.
Well,
let me see when
maybe...
it's on here.
Well, it's on 2 o'clock Pacific and Eastern. It's just that if we were going to do it at the same time, one of us would have to relay it to the other. So we could... And if you do it at 2 Pacific, we'd be doing it at 5 Eastern. And one
Yeah,
of
but
you...
will that be tape delayed from coast to coast?
Well, yeah. They're going to run at 2 o'clock on Eastern and 2 o'clock on Pacific. But... You know, which means that...
Well, that's dumb.
Well,
they should just run it live.
That's
coast to coast, like the Super Bowl will be.
It's not live, Brian. They pre-tape it.
But be a live time, you know,
Hold on, I'm seeing if there's
live
a
on
live...
tape. Like Colbert. Oh, that's right. That's all tape delayed.
Yeah, they Pacific and Eastern feed. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes there have been times that the version I was getting of a channel in California was the Eastern stream. No, Mookie writing in.
Well, some things they want to do live. So, like
Mookie,
the impeachment hearings, we're getting the same stream.
Well, it's like, remember, there was an episode of 30 Rock that was done live, and they actually did it live twice because it would run at the same time, Eastern time and Pacific time, which means different times, the same time in their time zone. So there actually is an Eastern feed version and a Pacific feed version of that episode. And if you get like the DVD box set, you have two versions of it. So yeah, no, that's standard for Pacific and Eastern to.
So the Pacific time won't get any of the wardrobe malfunctions.
Well, the Super Bowl is a live event, so that's going to run live at the same time, different times in the time zones, east and west.
But the halftime show is not live.
Well, the wardrobe malfunction halftime show was live.
But the West Coast feed didn't get the whole thing.
They didn't? But it ran live across the country.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but I understood that they didn't get the live. They didn't get the whole thing because it was like the drone show they did at Houston Super Bowl a couple years back.
Hmm?
That was all tape delayed.
But the East Coast and the West Coast
Or
are
live on tape.
For the Super Bowl, the East and West Coast are getting the same live feed.
But there are aspects of the halftime show that are not live.
But the wardrobe malfunction was live. Otherwise, it
I
wouldn't have
didn't
aired.
see it, so I just have to go with what you're saying.
Yeah. Mookie right again. Do people on the West Coast really matter? I think not. Oh,
You
burn!
were out here. You were out here.
Burn!
And there is no such thing as New Jersey pizza. It's all on New York style.
It's New Jersey pizza when you
Bullshit.
get in New Jersey.
Of course, Lulu, that guy drives a station wagon, so he hates cars.
I like functional transportation.
Oh, functional transportation. Yes, you know why there aren't very many older station wagons out there?
People are
I
getting
tweeted
dumber.
you on it.
Oh.
You must have ignored it.
Oh.
Because they are very popular with the guys that drive the demolition derby.
Oh.
Because a station wagon will outlive a regular sedan in the demolition derby, so therefore you can win the race.
Oh, there you go. See, I know what I'm doing.
Also, they would drive those station wagons backwards because they don't even drive forward correctly. No, because they would survive better if you hit them, you hit from the rear end.
That makes sense.
Lulu is frozen.
Buick
No.
station.
Oh, you're not. Hi.
I'm trying to
Yes, she
find
is.
out when they're showing the Kitten Bowl.
Oh, okay.
My Google
You
search.
weren't moving at all, so I thought you were frozen.
No, I have it on Sunday at 2 p.m. and at 5 p.m.
Oh, double dipper. That network has nothing else to show. What network plays that?
And it's at Hallmark.
Yeah.
Go to
So
the Hallmark Channel.
we could watch it at 11 and I could relay it to you, or we could watch it at 2, be at 5, and I could watch the DVR version. If we want to do a
Why
Kitten
not
Bowl
just watch
reaction,
the Super Bowl and get it live?
Because
Or here's a better
I
idea.
just watch that for the
Let's
commercials.
go to C-SPAN and see what they're showing, because that'll probably be live coast to coast.
Well, I mean, if people really want to watch 4 people fall asleep on the Twitch, I guess we could do that. But
Yes.
People on Mountain Time are the most fucked. Nobody bothers with them.
hey, when you get into those high altitudes, the lack of oxygen to the brain, you don't care how fucked you are. So Yeah. Well,
Some of the Senate hearings apparently work better than ambient.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that. So, do we want to try to do some type of Kitten Bowl reaction stream, or
I won't be able to be part of that.
No, you can't. Well, if we do it East Coast
No,
time,
I'll be in this party.
Well, what time do you got to go to this party?
I don't even know.
Well,
Sorry.
The Super Bowl starts at like 6, so I don't think you got to be at this party. So if we do it East Coast time, and I relay the stream to you, we could do it at 11.
I'm not going to be doing. I'm not going to be.
We could do it at 11 o'clock your time.
Not going to be doing it.
You don't like
Sorry.
kittens?
No, I hate kittens.
Well,
Not really.
we could do the Puppy Bowl. You can watch the Puppy Bowl while the rest of us watch the Kitten Bowl, and we'll see if our reactions line up.
I think
No,
you're
not
missing
the
the
rest
point.
of us. I will
Yeah,
be
but-
on the Puppy Bowl.
We could have like a judge match.
Mookie's writing in a party or the official Kitten Bowl, and you are debating it?
Okay, so I don't think I have the Puppy Bowl.
Oh, Animal Planet.
I know, I'm looking at it.
Oh.
I have Puppy Bowl pregame show. Puppy Bowl presents the Dog Bowl. Puppy Bowl inside the bowl.
Yeah, it comes on after
Puppy
all
Bowl
those.
presents inside the bowl.
It should be at 2 o'clock. What runs at 2 in your time zone?
It's not giving me anything. It says upgrade to watch. So that's not
Oh,
even in
you don't
my-
have Animal Planet.
No.
Well, you need to call your cable provider and say, "Hey, what's the
Totally
deal with
screwed.
my Animal Planet?"
That's the
Are,
one they,
are
they
you
did
on
give me.
Comcast, Lulu?
I'm on Spectrum.
Spectrum. Better network.
Which
Better.
is Charter.
Well,
And I've
anyways,
only got the family
I love all
packages,
these companies that have multiple names for them.
and they give me Animal
Rectum
Planet.
Charter, Comcast, Xfinity
I
and
like
beyond.
Animal Planet.
Nope,
Oh,
that's wrong.
that's great for you. But yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, well, anyways, on that note, we have reached that time again where it is time to...
Although I have no idea
Quick before
why
the
they give
ambient
me
wears off.
2 country music channels.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Anyways, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get any reaction videos this weekend because
Well, they got hee-haw.
I've invited Gothard over for the weekend so that he could also join us for the chips and salsa and guac and wing fest and puppy and kitten bowls and Super Bowl commercials.
Oh.
And I don't know, Kristen might even watch some of the game. I usually just watch the commercials, you know, and then I like.
Oh yeah, they're killing off Mr. Peanut.
They are.
Yeah.
No
you hear about
spoilers.
that?
No spoilers, Venison.
I'm sorry, heard about what? Heard. Yeah.
Apparently, they're killing off Mr. Peanut.
What?
Mookie writes in, Spectrum obviously hates animals. Well, no, it sounds like she got the Hallmark Channel with the Kitten Bowl. So, at least...
No, the people that won't subscribe to the to that channel are the ones that hate them. Just saying.
Well, that should
Piss
come...
off!
Well, that should come as part
Sorry.
of the...
Sorry.
That should come as part of the
you're
basic
not.
channel lineup. If your basic channel lineup
See,
doesn't include
but
Animal
see, you
Planet...
got it wrong. I don't think there should be a basic lineup. I think you should go in online and click on the channels that you want and not have to pay for any of the rest. I mean, why am I spending all this money for ESPN and I never watch it?
Well,
well, except for
the
unless
thing
it's
we're
Formula
finding out, Brian, the problem is
Yes.
is that the cable companies have spent too much time raising their rates and it's gotten too high. But I think the argument could be made that a la carte could end up costing just as much for less. That by bundling things in,
Just as much for less? That doesn't make sense.
well, it's part of the way the bundle works because it's profitable to the company to reach a wider audience, and if you want a la carte, then they would charge you more per a la. Look, I'm playing
We
devil's.
can get a smaller outfit like Sling TV that gives you a true a la carte. Pay what you want to watch.
We are in an era now where the pendulum's swinging the other way, and we're going to more a la carte model. And now what we're finding out is that if you want to get everything, you have to buy a bunch of individual things that end up costing more than the old traditional cable bundle.
No. It would be something like this. And actually in Singapore, they did it this way. So if you want sports channels, you would click a box. If you want news channels, you click a box.
Well, what about TBS?
If you wanted movies, you click a box.
What about TBS?
Now, what?
Well, I used to like to watch Conan on TBS, but TBS was considered a sports channel because they show sports events sometimes. So I had to go into a higher package in order to get TBS.
But let me finish there. So let's say I'm willing to pay for 3 boxes, and I've clicked 3 boxes. If I wanted a bunch of others, now those are still like mini bundles, but at least that's the right direction. The best way to go would be, hey, click on the channels that you want. Because there are some channels that I never watch.
Well, I really like that I got Philo for $20 a month. $20 a month, and that includes the MTV channels, including MTV Classics, and it includes Investigation Discovery. So that's how I the only reason I have a cable package is because it was the cheapest way to get high-speed internet, was to get a package that included cable, which works out good because my cable package includes Animal Planet, so I can sync up the Animal Planet app.
Which provider you got?
I got Comcast.
Comcast?
Yeah. Which I called Comcast and asked them how much extra a month would I have to pay to get Investigation Discovery and MTV Classic, because I got an outfit that'll give it to me for $20 a month. And they said, well, we don't offer Investigation Discovery anymore. And I said, okay, fuck you. Well, I said, no, thank you, have a nice day. In my head, I was like, yeah, fuck you. I found someone else I can give my $20 to.
Okay, so what about, so like a bunch of the networks will have just their premium streaming service. CBS has.
All right, guys, I have to head out, so I'm gonna say bye.
What did you learn? What did you learn tonight?
I learned you guys talk too much.
Yes, we do.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Good night.
And Brian does too.
Well, CBS is the one that's being really evil about the package because they're putting original programming only on their streaming service, and
like some of the Star Trek stuff.
And they've pulled
Picard.
they pulled their stuff off of the other streaming services, and that's what we were seeing. It used to be that Netflix got in there pretty early on, and Hulu. But now all these companies that used to put their stuff for free on Hulu or put their libraries into Netflix, they're pulling the stuff out. They're putting their own things up, and now they're splitting it up. So
how much does that CBS service cost?
I don't even know. I didn't check it out because I already pay what I want to pay a month. I don't want to start piling more things on there. But you see what I mean?
Yeah, more than I can pay.
The industry's moving it to a la carte, but they're doing it expensively, and they're fragmenting it into a bunch of bills that are going to add up to way more than we were ever paying. Of course,
but this is
it's not
why
sustainable.
The service provider should not offer any content of their own. Think about that. If you're a survivor, whether it's an internet provider or
we can't afford it. Leave it at that.
What are you saying?
Fuck them all.
We
can't afford them.
You shouldn't provide your own content?
Fuck them.
You shouldn't be able. So, like Comcast owns a bunch of networks.
Yeah.
They should be forced to sell them if they're gonna be a service provider.
Well, especially now that Trump has taken a shit on top of net neutrality, because that's going to, if we don't fix this, it's going to become a huge
television
problem.
Never had anything to do with net neutrality, but they should be under that umbrella.
But now that now that TV more and more is being delivered to us over internet, and companies are now allowed to set up internet in certain ways that they can give their own content preferential treatment. 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be seeing a very different internet where you have to pay to play, and the small guy is going to be shut out, and the content.
So you're going. What we'll do is we'll VPN to some foreign country.
But it still goes over the same pipe. They'll block that shit.
I'm sorry, say again?
They'll block that shit. The VPN's gonna
not
be given preference.
They can't block a VPN service because they don't know what's on it.
They can provide preferential treatment to their own data, and whatever's not their own data, like what's on the VPN, ain't gonna get the preference.
Then you find another ISP. Find another ISP.
Oh, just like you find another cable company.
Forget it. We're fucked.
Well, like in the Monterey area where the beach house is, granted I'm on Comcast and that's the fastest and best one.
Typically
there are other providers there, including AT&T.
These companies
and other ones.
These companies
Spectrum.
are basically running legalized monopolies, and they're all in bed with each other. I mean,
of course,
most areas you go into, you only have one cable option. And so you might have some type of a DSL option, or maybe some, and I think there's other high-speed wireless, but you got 2 or 3 high-speed internet options at most, and they could all play the same game the other one's doing.
This is interesting. So a couple weeks ago, they were pulling some fiber optic cable down the street that goes past my block. I mean, this is like 2 houses away. And that was being done by Verizon. Let's see, what service does Verizon offer in my area other than wireless telephone? Nothing. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he says, so what's happening is that they were pulling a cable that they call a mesh network. Basically meaning everything goes over it.
Now,
those cell phone towers are connected to it. You'll probably have Comcast that will connect to it. You'll probably have AT&T connect. All these guys are in on it. They're all in bed with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that Verizon isn't in the area. They got that contract to pull the cable.
Mookie writing in, the free market will sort all of this out. Many of the streaming services will fail, and both SpaceX and Amazon are launching satellites for high-speed ISPs without wires. And then sends a link to that. Here's the thing, though. As streaming services fail, they merge, and then, it's... here's the thing. The free market doesn't sort things out as much as everyone claims it does.
You know what's gonna,
because the free market is rigged.
I agree with you.
The free market is rigged in favor of the powerful, and they abuse it. And then it's all... If we don't have a true free market here.
So what... You know what happens? So at the latest count, 100,000 people a year in the U.S. are going totally off the grid because they just don't want to be part of that anymore. There would be no cable bill. There would be no cell service bill. There would be nothing because they don't want any of it.
You know what?
Well,
yeah.
Maybe we should just cut the cable and what can we do for fun? Well, heroin? There we go.
You know
what did you do when you were a kid?
Hold on. Everybody
off.
complained about Comcast. Everybody complained about Comcast. But you know what? When I had Comcast, I had phone, internet, and all of the channels, including HBO and Showtime, for $136 a month. Now I'm on this cable company. I got, basic cable, a la carte cable, family package, internet. It's going to be $125.
Okay.
I want Comcast.
Okay.
Okay. Mookie writing in.
But you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Mookie writes in, Lulu has the right attitude and look right now. Anyways.
That she's left the show?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Like I said, I just, get the cheapest high-speed internet I can get. If whatever TV package that comes with that lets me sign into apps on my sticks. And I added Philo for $20 a month so that I have the option of MTV Classics and Investigation Discovery. And it also comes with Hallmark, so I'm all set for Kitten Bowl. And Animal Planet's part of my Comcast deal, and I can use the Animal Planet app. And the great thing is the Animal Planet app runs in high def, even though I don't pay for the high def with my Comcast package. I have a cable box somewhere in my basement, never hooked it up.
Yeah, you gotta pay $10 for high def on these people.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm not even going to hook up the cable box. Why am I going to pay for the high def? I got it. Oh, for broadcast channels, I have an antenna in the attic.
You got a TV that can decode it?
Yes, because they send modern signals that modern TVs can play.
Modern TV.
Now, when I get my 1949 Zenith all working again, I'm going to have to get a
box.
A box for that. What do they call that? A RF modulator, and set it to channel 3 and clunk into channel 3. So I don't, which it's a little bit of a bummer that I can't use that certain capability of that TV once I restore it. That it's only gonna be good for one channel.
I hope my TV still does it.
Well, you could probably, so that the channel changes, the clunk, clunk, clunk.
Yeah.
That's a mechanical device.
Yeah.
You could figure out what is being connected when I'm on 3.
And hardwire
And
it
essentially disconnect everything else so you only have the channel 3.
I'd rather not. I'd rather keep
And
it
eliminate
original.
that knob?
No, why would I do that?
Good.
Historical accuracy.
When I moved here, I got over-the-air channels. I hope I still can.
But I
hope they didn't.
But I still like you already had it because you had the Kitten Bowl right on your own TV.
You know what I could do? I could get 12 RF modulators and set each one to a channel from 2 up through 13, and then I can get and then I could set them each to receive in channels 2 through 13, and then set them up simultaneously, and that way.
And how much would that hardware cost you?
Hey, Brian, this is all about making the TV work again. A working 1949 Zenith TV that tunes in multiple channels with the clunk, clunk, clunk dial, that's priceless. You can't put a dollar amount on that.
That's true, you can't, because I think it would be priceless.
I think once I get this all set up and running, the FCC is going to be like ringing my doorbell. We're detecting a high amount of TV activity from this house. What are you doing in there?
But
you're not truly a transmit. I mean, you're just an RF modulator.
I'm just
That's England.
I'm making a
drawing
joke.
enough signal.
Yeah, that's England.
England only does.
Well,
that.
England still charges a cheaper price for a license for a black and white TV, so I wouldn't have to pay the full price for this one.
Way to go.
Anyways, we
you
should
can still get a black and white TV? That's amazing.
Apparently in England it's still a thing because it's still cheaper, because you have to pay a license to own a TV. Is that fucking ridiculous?
Of course, you
or
could get
what?
a vehicle with 3 wheels, and it's cheaper that way.
I mean, yeah, that was
and
the thing
those
too.
were popular.
Because you could save money.
The Reliant Robin is a 3-wheel TV.
Because the insurance was
vehicle.
cheaper on it because of the class of vehicle or something like that.
Yes.
And but yeah, and that's why black and white TVs are readily available for longer in England. Now, I don't know if that's still the case. I read an article about that. Apparently, it's very popular to lie about owning.
Was this
TV.
a Reader's Digest article back in 1983?
No, I read something on the internet like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh,
And-
therefore it's true.
Yeah, you're catching on. Well, no, this sounded real. But yeah, you have to pay to own a TV in England. I guess that's subsidies the BBC, maybe. I don't, but I just know it went more into about the trouble that they go to prove people own TVs that claim to not own TVs. Like, these people will actually spy on you and then confront you with the truth of your TV ownership to shake you down for the money. It sounds very mob-like.
They got bands that can track you.
Yeah.
So this viral video is showing up on people's Facebook feed. It's this photo of a truck that crashed back in 2017. Why is it coming out now? Where the truck was loaded with marbles. So marbles were all over the place.
Oh, nice. Yeah. This my 49 TV's got a lot of tubes in it, and most of them test good. I'm gonna have to replace a few of them though. But I'm working on
tubes are cool.
I'm working on replacing the old paper capacitors and the old electrolytic capacitors.
What are you replacing the paper capacitors with?
Newer capacitors that aren't paper.
And electrolytic, you're just updating to
Mylar.
Yeah, Mylar. So we'll see how that goes once I get all the capacitors replaced.
Are you on those old capacitors that are paper?
Yeah.
Are you recycling that paper?
Well, they're paper and wax and stuff that's in them. I don't think they're recyclable. I just been chucking them in the trash.
Okay, because the Mylar will not be recyclable.
No. Well, neither will the paper capacitors are wax and paper and stuff. You know, they're not recyclable.
And aluminum.
And aluminum. Yeah, they're not.
But the old tubes are probably recyclable.
What's that?
The old tubes, those are probably recyclable.
I don't know. Mookie writing, in the UK, you have to pay a license fee if you watch live TV by any means, or if you use BBC On Demand services. Now, if you own a VCR, could you make the argument that I only watch videotapes on my TV? That right there.
Interesting.
Maybe making the recording is considered as the viewing.
Oh no! I just rent the pornos from the place down the street. That's.
Oh, are they still in business?
Of course, it's porn.
Porn is everywhere.
Does the VCR have a tuner? Well, I would have bought one without a tuner if I could have, but I don't use the tuner. I just watch the pornos that I rent from down the street. There you go.
Wait a minute. So they still rent VHS tapes?
Just play along with this, Brian. Okay, don't overanalyze.
I'm trying.
What are you shaking me down for money
They
now?
have it in player piano paper.
There you go. Anyways,
not sure how that would work for the video part, though.
What have we learned?
The VCR has a tuner. You have to license.
So, Brian, what have you learned this week?
Remind me what we were talking about. I just learned that.
The rusty trombone.
The rusty I just learned that. Absolutely.
There you go. Now you can go teach all your friends all the cool things you're learning about.
Yep.
Next time you get together with your buddies, a little jazz session, and your buddy pulls up the trombone, and you go, "Hey, you know what I just learned about the trombone this past week?" I don't know how you finish that sentence. Venison, what have you learned this week?
Well, I've learned that, yes, as true to nature, you will still get material that nobody will even think of. You know, teeth. Oh, God. And...
With the tall teeth?
Brian, yeah. And Brian doesn't have a clue about American slang.
Well, that one. I mean, hey, each show we bring up some of that slang, urban slang, and we talk about it. That's how you learn about it. Remember, I'm old. I'm old school.
Yeah, you're old. You should know this stuff.
Venison knows about the rusty trombone.
Yeah, I had a website that all the cliche terms.
Rumor has it that Oscar the Grouch coined the term. Mookie writing
Okay.
Mookie writing in, I learned that comedy is subjective and no one appreciates a good knock-knock joke. You know, somewhere I used to have a T-shirt that showed a door and a banana and a banana and a banana and an orange, something to that effect. It was some kind of a T-shirt visual depiction of the orangey glade. I didn't say banana knock-knock joke. So there's always that.
That's always all. Oh yeah, I got one for you.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Not us, because we're leaving.
Okay. Well, I guess I should have learned something today. What have I learned? I've learned no one cares about the kindergarten tall teeth. I thought that I had a cool topic there, and that people were going to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," or "What in the fuck is that?" But no, there's just no pleasing. Anyways,
Second one.
I've also learned that if you really want to bond with the people you work with, get blindingly shit-faced drunk with them.
By the way, have you guys seen the new Space Force emblem?
No, I have not.
I just tweeted it to you guys.
Oh, let's not.
All right.
Let's not talk about that. We'll be here in another half an hour.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Just take a look at it when you get a chance. I tweeted it to you, so you'll get it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I like it, although I'm sure that Paramount will consider suing. But then again, you can't sue the government. So they just got to go with it, right? Hey, look at that, man.
There you go.
This is the predecessor of the Federation.
Could be. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening, but be sure to tomorrow on 93radio.com, Video Vamp will be doing the ADHD radio show. I'll be back here. I'll be back on Dune's channel, which is relayed here with Dune on 5-Hit Dune, doing the Dune and Bob show on Sunday, 6 to 8 Eastern. We'll be back here next Monday, I think. And, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the shows Sunday, because I'll probably be busy, like, doing Super Bowl stuff. So Dune might have to put up a rerun or something. But follow us on Twitter if you haven't already. We all tweet lots of fun things. Thank you, everyone, listening, and good night. And let's see who's live. We should raid someone.
Make me write a song.
All right, let's see. Who do we raid? We have anyone good to raid right now? I don't see anyone I know on. Oh, Ray Rachel. We're going to go raid Ray Rachel.
It figures. Go for the dude that paints herself nude.
Yes. Well, no, she wears pasties. And paint.
Typical. I'm still going for Make Me Write a Song. He's cool.
All right.
Yo!
We're going to turn off the stream. Good night, everyone.